Welcome to the Co-Managers Fantasy Football Show. My name is John Youngblood, a.k.a. Co-Manager John. With me, as always, Justin Busca, a.k.a. Co-Manager Justin.
Yo.
All right, welcome back in episode 99. We are going to party like it's 1999 here.
I mean, we did party in 1999.
Yeah.
We're dating ourselves a little there. But it was a big deal because we thought the world was ending.
Yeah, Y2K.
In 2000, so we went real hard in 99.
I mean, we were freshmen in high school, maybe middle school. Maybe we weren't partying that much.
No, we were doing it. It was full send. Inadvisable probably at the time.
All right. So we are going to continue our top 12 series. We're going to get to the top 12 wide receivers of 2025. Any surprises to you on the list before we get into it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't take long for the surprises for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get into it, and then we'll talk about what we think about the list at the end.
Number one on the list at the tippy top, Puka Nacua. Puka Nukem, he was great. It was fantastic. It was a great time to be had by all. He had 129 receptions on 166 targets for 1,715 yards and 10 touchdowns. That is spectacular.
He's awesome. He had the kingmaker Matthew Stafford throwing him the ball, and he's really had an amazing start to his season here. I mean, his career. 24 years old now. As a rookie, he was fourth. He had an injury-shortened season last year, and now he's number one. 1,700 yards is crazy.
Yeah.
And Stafford has announced he's going to be back there, so that eases that. Although coming into the season, we were worried about Stafford's health.
He didn't show any slowdown at all year.
The only negative I could possibly say about Puka is that he's an incredibly physical receiver. He seeks out contact. At the end of every game, he looks bloodied, concussed.
Yeah, he's a lower the shoulder instead of step out of bounds kind of guy, which is not what you want to see with your dynasty wide receiver. You know?
Fun to watch. He has some quote about saying he wants to retire by the time he's 30 or something. So
that's not a good thing to power to you if you can pull it off, but
yeah,
it's not something you want to see as a fantasy fan and player. Number 2 on the list is almost identical numbers, is JSN, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, 119 receptions, 10 less than Puka, and that's really about where it ends. That's different there. 163 targets, 1,793 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Just a fantastic, stellar year. And, I mean, would you call this the JSN breakout?
Well, he was a top 10 receiver last year.
But, I mean, it wasn't like this.
He was on watch to break Megatron's record for a while this year. Didn't quite pull it off. The cool thing about JSN this year is that he elevated his game. He's a more well-rounded receiver. Instead of, as a rookie, he almost exclusively caught around the line of scrimmage. They called it the Shane Waldron effect. JSN hated him. He has a famous interview where he refuses to answer about him. His response was, "Is this live?" But he unlocked a new step. He's catching balls downfield now. He's getting behind the defense, which is hard to do if you're a super fast guy. He's not a super fast guy. He's just such a good route runner that he can manipulate the defense and then get behind them. Whatever he's doing, it's working. Tom Brady pointed out that he is such a good route runner because he runs with even level pads no matter what route he's doing. And most receivers, you can watch them and they kind of have a cheat. If they are going to dip inside, they have that shoulder a little lower when they're running or something. But he will go in and out of breaks with no visible indication of what he's doing. So it's harder for corners to jump routes or get any indication of what they're doing.
Yeah. It was fantastic. It was a little bummer because I I kind of was rooting for him to take over the number 1 position there, and he got real close, but not quite. Number 3 on the list is a fairly large drop-off, and there will just be more and more drop-offs because I think like 7th is a full 100 points behind Puka. So, I mean, the variance here on the top of this list, it gets pretty extreme. Amon-Ra St. Brown, number 3. This is 3rd year of number 3 in a row?
Yep.
Wow.
3.
Yeah, that's crazy. 117 receptions on 172 targets, 1,401 yards, and 11 touchdowns. Touchdown leader. Pretty.
Devontae Adams, I think, was a touchdown leader.
Oh, well, you're right. But second place. He's up there.
Yeah, Amon-Ra was leading for a while. The Lions do a lot more rushing touchdowns. Well, I say that, but the Rams usually are way up there in rushing touchdowns. They just kind of weren't this year.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra, incredibly dependable. You mentioned the 3 years in a row finishing at 3rd, exactly 3rd.
Yeah. It is crazy. It's almost like, hey, all I got to do is, whoa, yeah. It's like on The Incredibles at the end when they got the kid, he's in the race, and he's just starts to blow people around, and his parents are like, no, slow down, pull it back. And then he's slowing down, but I'm like, no, go forward, don't lose. And then it's just like, no, 3, just speed, number 3. That's where you end. And he's like, yay.
Really, my takeaway looking at the top 3 here is we were just talking about the combine and how much it's fun to see the people that go super fast and all the burners and everything. All 3 of these guys were not speed guys. These are all route runners. That's their superpower. And I think it's incredibly important. Corners are very athletic, but if you get them running the wrong direction, their speed hurts them.
Right. If you get a guy to bite, then he gets in too far. And then,
you win.
You got him. Next on our list is Ja'Marr Chase. Weird that he's in the top 5, right?
I mean, kinda.
It's weird because there was no Burrow.
Yeah, for a long time.
So, I mean, if you want to talk about coming back at the end of the race, Ja'Marr Chase, he was able to limp along long enough until Burrow could pass him the ball again. And then he's like, okay, I got a lot of road and make up. And he made up a bunch. 125 receptions on 185 targets, 1,412 yards, and 8 touchdowns.
There was that one game, I'm pretty sure it was Flacco throwing him the ball against the Steelers, and the whole game plan was throw the ball to Chase. Like, I don't know if Flacco didn't know the whole game plan yet. He didn't have the I remember after the game, he said he couldn't understand whoever the play caller was, or he was saying things he didn't know. So he's like, all right, well, here's the play call. Ja'Marr, what are you doing? All right, I'll throw you the ball. And he just had an insane amount of targets, and it worked. He blew up.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him. He's incredibly talented. This is the first guy where on this list, he's clearly the most talented. He is an athletic freak, and he's also a good route runner. And he also has a really good pocket passer as long as he's healthy. So he's in contention for number 1 wide receiver every year. Ja'Marr Chase is awesome. I don't know what you could say bad other than Burrow seems to be susceptible to injuries, but is that a Cincinnati O-line issue or is it a Burrow issue?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could call him out for being a diva because he held out last year, but it didn't matter. It's still number 1. So
that might have been 2 years ago, but
could be 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Next on the list, we got George Pickens. 93 receptions on 137 targets, 1,429 yards, and 9 touchdowns. This is noteworthy because he did it on quite a bit less. You know, he had 93 receptions as close. The next person in line had 125. So, I mean, it's a huge drop off in actual work, but he still ended up with 1,429 yards, which is 3rd place so far on the list. He got a lot done with less receptions.
And that kind of shows when you look at his game log because he he felt like he did most of his damage in 4 or 5 games. He blew up in those games, and the rest of the games he was kind of inconsistent.
Yeah.
And a bunch of these guys ahead of him on this list, super consistent guys. They're big target earners. With that being said, this is by far George Pickens' best season. He's always had, he's a sports center guy. He's a highlight reel.
Right.
Even in college, he can make impossible catches. He probably is the best at it in the league. One-handed, sideline.
Circus coming down, barely have control of it until you tuck it in at the last second before you hit the ground.
It's the kind of catches where you're like, there's zero chance he's going to catch that. Well, he caught it, but there's zero chance he made it in bounds. Okay, he made it in bounds. Like, referees get calls on him wrong half the time because it just seems impossible that he can catch them. But with that said, there's a lot that comes with Pickens. You mentioned him being a diva, and I think that is accurate. I don't know why I said that weird. Accurate.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Accurate.
Accurate.
Akira. Yeah. I think that he showed a lot of maturity during this year. At the beginning of last year, as we were going into it, and Pickens went to Dallas, we were like, whoo, man, we're going to have Pickens, who's known to be a diva and, you know, bucks against authority, going to Dallas. We didn't think that was going to work out. And he went there, and he was great. He had no problems. We expected locker room issues. There was none. Pickens showed a lot of maturity as a player, as a young guy. He stepped out of what we expected from him and produced all year. We were really excited as fantasy people to see that. Hopefully that continues with this new outrage on his part that's going on right now with the franchise tag and being mad at Jerry Jones.
It's pro wrestling. I don't believe any of it. It's all fake.
Yeah, could be, hopefully.
Although I said that about Micah Parsons, and then he's playing for a different team, so who knows?
Yeah, that's true. Next one on the list is the first one I was surprised about.
Yeah.
And that's Chris Olave. 100 receptions on 156 targets, 1,163 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Pretty good year. And he crept way up there. This is what, number 7?
Number 7. Oh, you mean on the list? Number 6.
Nope, it's 7.
I have 6.
You're right. Because it's harder to count for me.
On the show doc, I have it numbered. If that
Once
helps.
I got to the other hand and I run out of fingers, it starts getting tough.
Okay. So the narrative coming into the year is Chris Olave gonna medically retire?
Yeah.
He was in the same bucket as Tua.
Right. Too many concussions in such a short period of time. And I was full out. I have 0 pieces of Chris Olave last year because I was too scared about the medical of it.
Yeah. He hasn't played with a ton of great quarterback play, I'll say. And he almost has a Garrett Wilson feel to him. Like, you can see flashes of greatness. You know he's a talented guy, but he's not really producing as like a top 5 receiver.
Yeah. He hasn't really been put in a situation where he could succeed, even though he shows the flashes of talent.
And then I don't remember if it was just early in the season or preseason or what it was, but I felt like Spencer Rattler was just throwing him hospital balls. It was like screen passes and he would lob it to him. And then by the time the ball hits him, he's getting drilled. And I'm like, he might not, survive the season.
Right.
But I was wrong. He had the best season he's had of his career. Tyler Shuck looks usable and potentially like a decent quarterback.
Yeah.
So if he's getting decent quarterback play, he ended the season super strong against some decent defenses. So if that trend continues, Olave might be, top 10 going forward.
He got to this spot, and I said, I was surprised to see it. I was also didn't expect him to do worse. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't expect to see him here in the top 12, but I felt like every time I watched him in a game, it was just like, there we are. You know what I mean? That it wasn't egregious. So I would say that he could reproduce what he did, getting back to the same spot, performing the same year a second time, next season, super plausible.
He finished wide receiver 6 despite a very slow start. He was pretty much not usable until week 7. It was his first time finishing higher than wide receiver 18. And then he was fairly good from that point on.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints in general were pretty quiet, below the radar.
I wonder how that lines up with the Spencer Rattler games. When did Shuck come in? Week 8. That exactly lines up.
Huh.
So
when
Shuck,
Rattler stopped trying to kill him, then it was fine after that. So, well, there we go. And, we know he's the guy. There's no question mark in New Orleans. That's their guy.
Especially since they got rid of Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah.
Rashid Shaheed. Yeah. So they don't have anyone close to the talent level. They have an aging running back in Kamara. Chris Olave is kind of the heartbeat of this offense.
Yeah. I would have said Kamara last year, but definitely not this year.
No.
It was definitely Chris Olave. All right, next one on the list, and this is the one that I'm probably the most surprised about of all of the names on the list, is Zay Flowers. 86 receptions for 118 targets, 1,211 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I think Baltimore in general was just a super disappointing. I mean, the whole season was just basically a wash.
So, I agree. Wide receiver 7 is good. Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good.
But I think one thing we're kind of not taking into account here is wide receiver points in general were down by quite a bit last year.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to break it down, Zay Flowers scored 200 fantasy points total.
11.78 per game.
Yeah, so 200 total fantasy points for the whole season, and then to give the Puka at number 1 was 311. You know what I mean? It's a full, 50% more points, more than 50% more points than what Zay Flowers is here at number 7. So the drop off is pretty extreme. And that just goes to show you the wide receiver drop off was pretty extreme across the board.
Yeah. And this was kind of a participation trophy for just having a healthy wide receiver 1, which I would say he's Baltimore's wide receiver 1. He didn't miss any games, and he didn't really help you win at all. He had 4 games inside the top 10 and a whole bunch of games outside the top 30. So he wasn't consistent. It's weird that this kind of season can finish as wide receiver 7. I think it's just we're experiencing the renaissance of the running back position. So when you look at all of this and you see how good the running backs are, does that make you want to get 3 good running backs, or are you trying to hit on the elite wide receivers because there's so few of them?
I mean, that almost is the same way you want to talk about onesie positions, because there are so few good tight ends or elite top tier tight ends and so few top tier elite quarterbacks that if you don't get the first 2 or 3 off the board, then that position is a puntable one. Wide receiver was puntable this year.
Yeah.
So I think that if I knew these numbers at draft time, I'm going triple RB.
Yeah. I think I'm with you.
And then I just punt all those positions. Would like to have these top tier guys, Puka and JSN? Yeah, that'd be great. But as great as they were, I'll take triple RB instead. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then I'll end up with, the every other guy, because after the top 12, every other guy is similar. We're shaving points by 1 instead of by 50.
Yep. I agree.
But, that's hindsight and all that.
So just looking at the list as a whole, number 12 scored 182. And basically the next 12 after that scored 160. So the whole next tier of wide receivers were within 20 points. Running backs is so top heavy.
Yeah, they were like 230s at that same spot. You know what I mean? So it's just a lot more points out there. And the top end was better too, though. I mean, McCaffrey had 366, so a full 50 points higher than the best wide receiver. So,
yeah.
And there were a bunch of people better than, there were
Jahmyr Gibbs, number 4, 328.
Yeah, so he was still better than
Puka.
The best wide receiver.
Yeah. I think running back would win.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but I think that's accurate.
So, next on the list, we have Davante Adams. This one was crazy because Davante Adams only had 60 receptions. He only had 789 yards. So, you're like, how did he make it so high up here on the list? And it's because he had 14 touchdowns. He literally was that dump-off touchdown guy, and it pushed his points ahead.
He was indefensible in the red zone.
Yeah.
And it was almost like this year's tush push. It was unstoppable. They got to the 1. You knew what was going to happen, and you couldn't stop it.
Yeah, it's craziness. I mean, I think it's the only guy in the top 12 who didn't have 1,000 yards. So it was
T. Higgins.
Yeah, he's 12th. Yeah.
Oh, what did you say? Top 12?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you're right. T. Higgins was also under 1,000, but just barely there. T. Higgins also had a lot of touchdowns. Similar profile with T. Higgins.
Yeah.
I mean, almost the same numbers, really. Just 3 less touchdowns and 100 more yards. Or 50 more.
Yeah, another thing hurting Adams here is he played 14 games. And I think he would have played more, but they kind of saved him for the playoffs a little bit. He had a little hamstring issue, and McVay wanted him 100% healthy.
Yeah. Next on the list, we got Nico Collins. This is, I was watching Nico Collins early, and I thought that it was going to be Nico Collins was number 3 on this list, because felt like he was trending to be top 3. He was having a good year, and I thought that this was going to be the year for him. He ends it out with 71 receptions on 120 targets and 1,117 yards and 6 touchdowns. Great by any metric, and, if you had him, he was pretty good for you. But I felt like it ended up falling short from what I expected.
Yeah, it felt disappointing, and it's surprising as a Nico owner to see him in the top 10 because it didn't feel like he was a top 10 receiver. That's just kind of how wide receivers felt this year. I think he is elite, though, and if the Texans can take a step forward, he's in contention for wide receiver 1 overall. I think he's got that in his range of outcomes. But right now, their offense looks so out of sort that it doesn't look like it's solvable in 1 year.
Yeah. Next on the list, we have Jameson Williams. 65 receptions on 102 targets, 1,117 yards, and 7 touchdowns. It's crazy to me. In the top 12, there are 6 of the top 12 are pairs from teams.
6 of them? Half of them?
Yeah, 6 of the top 12 are, it's...
So, Amon-Ra.
Amon-Ra.
Jamar Chase, T. Higgins.
Chase and Higgins. And
Puka and Devontae. It's
so
just teams
6
that
of the
score
top
a lot
12
of touchdowns.
is 3 teams.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I didn't even pick up on that until just now because I was just thinking, all right, here's Jameson Williams. He's the first number 2 on his team. I'm like, wait, Devontae's number 2 on his team. T. Higgins is number 2 on his team. I'm like, and their number 1 is on this list as well. And I'm like, oh, man. That's half the list.
I know I take offense to these things because I'm a Lions fan, but so many people are like, I saw someone talking about things they got right, and they're like, oh, the Lions fell off without Ben Johnson. And I'm like, well, yeah, they were worse than they were last year, but they were number 1 last year. They were number 4 this year, I think, in points per game.
Wasn't a big fall.
Bad.
Yeah.
They didn't lose.
It's like when you go to take that last step off the stairs and you don't realize it's a little bit shorter than it's supposed to be. So you stumble and you're like, oh, okay. That wasn't actually bad and nothing's broken. I didn't fall down the stairs. It was just a short step.
In terms of offense, any Lions player you drafted you were still happy with, other than like Sam Laporta.
Yeah. But no, he was great. If anything, this is a step up for him, right?
It's probably his best finish. The year before, he was barely 1,000. It's his first full season.
Yeah.
And I
felt like he was a more reliable draft.
He started incredibly slow until Dan Campbell was like, "You're not using my boy." So he took over play calling, demoted John Morton, and got the ball to Jameson Williams. And he had a few games with 10-plus targets, which, if that's a trend going forward, he could be top 5 next year, even playing with Amon-Ra.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Next on the list, we got Courtland Sutton. 74 receptions on 124 yards, which is one of the worst completion percentages on this group's. And then he had 1,017 yards and 7 touchdowns. I think that he kind of limped into the top 12 here.
It was weird. Did not feel like it.
Didn't feel great, but he's here. And he did it. He was the number 1 target.
I'm pretty sure.
A productive, powerful Denver team. So
I think when we did the quarterback episode, Bo Nix led the league in pass attempts. It was like either him or Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that he's here just by volume, I guess.
Yeah, sheer volume. It's just he did not catch as many as his friends did.
Very inconsistent offense.
Yeah. The other low catch percentage guy was Jamar Chase, but that through no fault of his own. He went through quarterbacks on quarterbacks before he was able to get Burrow back. So he was just trying to make it work. And then that was number 11. Number 12 on our list, T. Higgins, 59 receptions on 98 targets, 846 yards, 11 touchdowns. That's, if you told me those stats, didn't tell me who it was, I'd say low wide receiver 2. But that was number 12, a wide receiver 1 on that year.
846 yards, making the top 12 list. So it's just not pretty.
It's just not pretty.
It almost feels like wide receiver 6 through 24 there's not a huge difference between them. So that's kind of like you mentioned with the onesie positions. Mm-hmm. If you miss out on the elite guys, just punt the position. You'll find some guys later. You'll be able to patch together a lineup because there's so many wide receivers that are startable.
Yeah.
So let's look at this and play a little game. Who do you think is most likely to fall out of the top 12 from this list?
Courtland Sutton for sure. I don't see that happening again.
Yeah.
Zay Flowers. As long as we get some of these other receivers start to do their job. Zay Flowers is not this guy. We don't expect to see this out of Zay Flowers.
Yep.
So that was he's strange to be up there. Felt weird.
George Pickens' numbers got inflated by CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb was gone. George Pickens was the only guy, so he was hyper-targeted.
Although, looking at this list, we've seen good offenses with a pocket passer can support 2 guys.
Yeah.
So they could be that. It wouldn't surprise me if Pickens and Lamb were both on this list.
Yeah.
So with that being said, who's not on this list that you think could be in 2026?
Well, you said him right there. CeeDee Lamb, I think, is the most glaring one. If, depending on what happens in Indiana, I would like to think that situation could get better too. I think Pittman could be top 12 if we were healthy all year long with Jones, because it was looking like he was going to be, that was the way it was going to be. And Pittman ended the year with 80 receptions, 780 yards, and 7 touchdowns. I mean, that's really pretty similar numbers as some of these guys that are in the top 12. If he had a healthy quarterback all year, I think that he could have flown up the board on that one.
Wild card, finished wide receiver 13. What are your thoughts on Michael Wilson now that he's kind of been unlocked? Because he did nothing.
Look, I loved that whole situation. I like the idea that Arizona could be viable. But a lot of things have to happen before game 1 starts in order for that to take place. And as much as I would like to say, hey, yeah, Michael Wilson, and I like the idea of Michael Wilson. He was great. Huge volume plays there. It was just really looking at like it was going to be a great situation. We still need to get that quarterback sorted.
Yeah, for sure.
Get that with some finality, let the ink dry, throw a little sand on it, and then I'm all in. And I think that could, I mean, he could travel up. I could see that Michael Wilson could, if there was stable and we had consistent production there, I'm all in. I'll vote for it. Drake London, same thing. Get the quarterback figured out. Drake London should be up in that list.
Michael Wilson, he ended as hot as anyone in the league. His final 8 games, 5 of them, he was in the top 10. And before that, he did nothing.
Yeah.
And not even just this year. His first 2 years in the league, plus his first 10 games this season, he did nothing. He was barely involved. And then all of a sudden, Jacoby Brissett targeted him 18 times, 185 yards, breakout game, consistently involved from that point forward.
Yeah. I like to think that, he had the talent and he just didn't have the opportunity until now. And I'd like to see that move forward and develop because he was exciting to watch. Arizona was exciting to watch. Despite not being able to win on those games, it was still good football.
Other contenders, Tedero McMillan, he got over 1,000 yards as a rookie. So there's always a chance he takes a step forward.
Yeah. He was exciting. It looks like that could be a situation that develops, and I would like to see.
Emeka Egbuka, if Mike Evans isn't there.
How about Wandale? 90-plus receptions.
No, they didn't
over
have
1,000
any
yards.
Yeah. He back-to-back years with 90-plus receptions on exactly 140 targets.
Yeah.
But they had no They had no Cam Scatterbo.
So here's another one, the obvious one that isn't on this list. And it's another situation, no quarterback. How you could have these elite guys with no quarterback. Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I know.
Justin Jefferson had 84 receptions on 141 targets, 1,048 yards. But here's what killed him and dropped him so far on the board.
No touchdowns.
2 total touchdowns. I mean, that's untenable. But 2 total touchdowns. I mean, they just didn't have a quarterback to throw him the ball. It was a huge struggle. And man, I'm glad I'm not a Vikings fan because by the end of the season, I would have been out for blood. I mean, I'd be roaming the streets.
We were talking about the top 3 guys weren't the most talented guys in the league. Justin Jefferson is probably the most talented receiver in the league.
Yeah.
He's got a number.
Actual skill set wise, probably. I mean, he is a freak show.
Yeah. So good. And he has a number 1 over wide receiver year under his belt. The worst season he's finished as when he played every game was his rookie year where he finished 6th until this year when he finished in the 20s. He's barely a wide receiver 2 with the current quarterback play. Man, they need to get that figured out.
Yeah. I mean, some notable mentions, A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith both had over 100 targets apiece, but they've just couldn't get things going over there. The whole quarterback play for the Eagles is just rough, bitter pill to swallow.
Rashee Rice, if he can stop beating his girlfriend long enough.
No, I've decided that he's never going to do that, and he'll just never have a full season for the rest of his life. So,
I did read a Drew Davenport. He provides legal analysis on fantasy football players, essentially, and he basically said the NFL rarely steps in on these civil cases. So unless something changes, there's likely going to be no suspension the team could release him or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But barring that, there's a good chance Rashee Rice doesn't miss time. But It doesn't sound good.
Yeah, no, it sounds awful.
How do you not just pay the girlfriend and move on with your life?
I mean, I'm assuming that there's just got to be some crazy emotional drama attached to the whole thing. Like that fella who chased her down in the car and rammed her off the road and fought the cops. You know what I mean? I'm thinking that level of...
Yeah, the James Pierce.
Yeah. Woo, man. That's a story. You don't get that one very often.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wish I didn't read all the stuff that it said in there, but it sounds like he's a bad person for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt on the Lambo case, but now I just like him not to be on the team. This always going to be a thing. I don't want to deal with that thing anymore.
Yeah, but your team looks a lot different when he's on the field and when he's not.
That's true. He's real good.
He's so good.
But can I have a different guy who's real good, who doesn't suck as a person?
Yeah.
That'd
that would
be nice. Hey, you got two guys.
No.
Why did you let me get one of them? You're not even using your tight end. Send him my way.
I mean, Jameson had some questionable stuff like once a year, but none of them were as bad as this.
Yeah.
It was always weird stuff, like he was betting on stuff that he wasn't supposed to bet on.
Yeah. He was just feeling left out.
Yeah.
So he's just like, I got to get on a headline somewhere. All my friends are doing it. But yeah, I think that's probably it for top 12 capables.
Yep.
At least that I see. Yeah, this is good. I think that this is a little bit more deviant than what we expected to see because the entire wide receiver position was a little different this year. We're doing tight end list as our next list. I'm excited for that one because I'm just all about the tight end position lately.
Yeah, he loves a good tight end.
You know, the tight end position.
Whatever
Football,
position, sure.
You know, this is a family-friendly show. You need to clean it up.
All right. Thanks for hanging out with us.
We'll see you guys next time.
Our league began with sleepers, waivers, rookies, deeper receivers. Trades were flying, takes were hot. We drafted late and prayed a lot. From zero RBs to breakout stars, handcuffs, hype trains, weekly wars. A waiver wire miracle, a dynasty empirical. The Comanagers are scheming, your title hopes are dreaming. Points are blasting, charts are flashing, wins on lock, no need for bashing. Comanagers, we're fixing your team.